This is what Jesus came to do, to bring more healing, more wholeness to our lives than we could ask or even imagine. Today, we're going to be talking about more healing. More healing. Everything that is stolen away from your wholeness. What would God want to do to redeem that and to restore it and to give you more health and healing and wholeness in your story? We're going to dive in Matthew. Again, we're staying quite a bit in Matthew today. Matthew chapter 8, the beginning verses, there's this incredible story of a leper who comes to Jesus. Leprosy was a horrible disease. And it says, when Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, if you are. Right? Jesus, like we just read in the chapter before, said, ask, seek, and knock. Here this man comes and says, if you're willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand and touched this leprous man. I am willing, he said. Be clean. Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy, fully healed and restored. Then Jesus said to him, see that you don't tell anyone, except go show yourself to the priest and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them. Listen, right here at the beginning of the message, I just want to focus us on 4 truths that we see very often repeated in these healing stories where Jesus showed that he has more for us in the way of healing. Because it's not just for these people who were healed and then eventually died. We'll get to meet this guy someday in heaven, I believe. But these stories are to teach us and to inform us, to encourage us, to challenge us. And so what are 4 truths we can take away about the more healing that Jesus has for us? Number 1, Jesus answers our deepest questions. When it comes to healing, I think there's always like, man, I'm broken. I need healing. I'm sick, I'm diseased, something's broken, something's not working. And this man, he asked this question, Jesus, are you willing? Jesus, are you willing? In other words, there was kind of this expression of doubt mixed in with his faith. Like, if you are willing, I believe you could heal me. But he has this question. It's this question of doubt. And we can imagine that Jesus would be just kind of like, dude, what? You're doubting me? I'm like the Messiah, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Man, you come and doubt, get out, But Jesus was not put off by his question. Jesus was not somehow like, get away from me. No, he was like, I want to address that because he knew what this man was really asking. Are you the kind of God who cares? And are you the kind of God who is able? Are you willing? Are you able? And Jesus responds. What did Jesus say? Oh, yes, I am. Jesus answers the guy, yes, I am willing. He tells him, he says, I am willing. Jesus will answer the deepest questions that we have about our brokenness. I am willing and I am able. Whew. That's where it starts, is knowing that that's the kind of God that Jesus is. Second thing that Jesus does that just jumps from the story is that Jesus touches our deepest pain. I said that leprosy is this horrible disease, and truly, it was horrible. Now, people can still get leprosy. It's rare. But you can get it, but because of modern antibiotics and things, it's not that big of a deal. But they didn't have that. And leprosy impacts people's nerves, the nerve endings, and it desensitizes them. And so you can imagine back, a couple thousand years ago, if you couldn't feel your feet, and all of a sudden, you stub your toe, you didn't know it, and a few days later there's an infection. How do you treat that? They didn't have modern, there's no Z-Pack. I'll just take that, put a little, Neosporin on my little owie, and a couple days later it's all going to be good. They did not have those things. And so what would happen is there would be an infection, and it would get worse, and it could turn into gangrene, it could turn into things. They would lose body parts. They would lose facial features. I've actually been, during missions trips over my lifetime, been to 2 different leper colonies where this still is impacting different people and different populations around our world, and it's horrible. It's disfiguring. It's a very, very terrible disease. But back then, they didn't have a way to just stop it, and so it would just continue to consume their body until it would take their lives. And the priests would declare them, because this is what God told them, you've got to declare that person as unclean. And they have to go and they have to live outside of community. And so this leper that came to Jesus was actually breaking the law by coming to Jesus, because they were supposed to be outside of the community. They were not allowed to come within 6 feet of people who were clean. And yet this man comes, and it doesn't say how close he was to Jesus when they started the conversation, but we know that by the end of the conversation, it says that Jesus broke the law, the Judaic law. You can go back to Leviticus chapter 14 and read about these laws. Jesus breaks the law by reaching out and touching him at his point of deepest pain. Not just the pain of the leprosy, which was claiming his body, but the point of his deepest pain of isolation and exclusion. Who knows when the last time this man would have been touched? And yet Jesus reaches out and touches him. So Jesus not only answers our deepest questions, but he touches the points of our deepest pain and says, I am here, right here with you. I am with you. And then we get to number 3, and this is pretty awesome, because not only does he touch our deepest pain, but Jesus cures our diseases. Like that, whatever that place of deep brokenness and pain is, whatever we have questions about, Jesus says, be clean. And immediately the man was clean. There is nothing too difficult for him. And in just a few minutes, we're going to look at the fact that Jesus literally paid the price to take our brokenness on himself in order that he could offer this gift of healing and wholeness to us. He cures us. He doesn't just care. Yes, I am. Yes, I care. And yes, I am able. And in his lordship, in his ability that there is nothing too hard for him, he will touch us at our places of deepest pain, and he will bring healing. And then number 4, which is this very interesting thing that we see not only in this story, but in many, many healing stories. Number 4, Jesus instructs us to walk in our healing. Actually, I wrote it wrong, didn't I? In, out, our healing. He instructs us how to walk out our healing. Like how to secure it. For this man, the leprosy that he had, if you go back to Leviticus 14, there was rules that they had to go before the priest. There was a whole protocol. They had to give an offering in order to be made whole and right and to be declared clean by the priest. And that's what Jesus told them to do. Go fulfill the obligation that you have. But we see all kinds of instruction that people give, or that Jesus gives to people when they receive their healing. To the guy who had been paralyzed, Jesus raised him up and says, pick up your mat and go home. Like, really? I'm well? Yes, secure your healing. Go and do this. To some people, Jesus said, don't tell anyone. To other people, he said, go back to your home and tell people. There's these instructions that Jesus will give us to secure that healing that he's provided. I was in a great conversation with Lori Crane this week, and she was telling me, because we were praying about healing, we were praying for us today, and she tells me this story several years ago, how God beautifully and remarkably healed her from real pain that she was having in her hip. God just healed her. Bless the Lord. Some weeks later go by, the symptoms return. What do I do with this? God, didn't you heal me? But the pain was coming back. And then through some teaching that she received, God spoke to her these instructions. You need to praise me through those symptoms because I have healed you. Praise me as your healer. Lay hold of the healing that I've given you. Praise me for it, even when you're feeling the pain. And she told me every time I would do that, every time that I would praise him, that pain was gone. Like it was this instruction that Jesus gave. And oftentimes God gives us instruction. It may be like, don't go back to that thing that hurt you. Don't go back there. Don't go back to that person that hurt you. Don't go back to eating the way you used to eat. Like there may be some instructions attached. Don't hide this miracle to yourself. Go share it as a testimony of what I did in your life. But there are oftentimes instructions attached to the healing. This is what Jesus came to do, to bring more healing, more wholeness to our lives than we could ask or even imagine.